Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. In under 10 minutes, I'm going to show you how you can run the latest DeepSeek R1 models, which is a thinking model from this Chinese company called DeepSeek, and it is comparable to OpenAI's best model called OpenAI O1, which is a thinking model again. Now, to be clear, we're not going to run the DeepSeek R1 model, which is a very big model. There's no way you can run it locally, but although it is open source, but you can't run it locally. But we are going to run the DeepSeek R1 Distill model, which is a version of the model which they have used the Quen 7b open source model and fine-tuned it or trained it using the output from DeepSeek R1. So this is like, you can call it a smaller version of the DeepSeek R1 thinking model, but this is the 7b model. I'm going to run this locally on my laptop. I'm using a MacBook M1 Air. It just has 8 GB of RAM. It is the Apple Silicon chip, but this is the first Apple Silicon chip. This is the M1. So it's not a very beefy laptop in any way, but I'm going to show you how we can run this locally. To do that, we're going to use LLM Studio. The reason we're going to use LLM Studio is because they make it very simple for you to download models that are open source and then try them out on their playground and even expose them as a server so you can build locally, and then when you deploy to the cloud you can just swap the IP addresses and you're good to go. So just head to lmstudio.ai, click on download, choose the download option based on your operating system, whether you're on a Mac or a Windows or Linux. Once you have downloaded it, open it and you will see a window like this. Now, as soon as you come here, you need to make sure that you've downloaded the latest version of LM Studio, or you at least need 0.3.7. Right now, I'm using 0.3.8, but the reason you need 0.3.7 is that is when they actually started supporting R1. To be precise, 0.3.7 build 2 is what you need at least in order to make sure that you can run DeepSeek R1. I am using a newer version which is 0.3.8, so I'm going to be good with running this model. Now, the first thing that you need to do is go here, click on Discover, and you would see all the models that are available. Make sure that you've selected these two options, MLX and GGUF. Especially if you're on Mac, make sure to select MLX. It will give you an edge when it comes to compute and performance. But on Windows, GGUF would be enough. Now, the first option that I can see here is this DeepSeek R1 Distill model, Quen 7b. I can also see the Llama 8b model. I'm going to choose the first one. It will tell you everything about the model. You can also click here and it will open this page for you, the Hugging Face page, and you can find all the details right here. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on download, and as you can see, this is about 5 GB. So it's going to take a while to download. I'm going to click on it, and as you can see, the download has started. It shows it's downloading. It's going okay. I'm going to wait for the download to complete and then we'll see how to use it. Okay, so now that the model is downloaded, you can click here to load the model, or you can even click here to load the model. Let's click on it, and then what it would do is open this chat window. It would create a new unnamed chat, and here if you see the bar, it is loading the model for you. Now once it is done loading, it would be ready for you to try it out. Here you can also see how much RAM is being used and the CPU being used. So you see it's about 4 GBs of RAM that is being used out of my 8 GB. And right now it's not using any CPU, maybe because I'm not using it yet. But now you see the model has been loaded. So I'm going to try and send a message. Hey, what is 2 plus 2? Let's just ask a very simple question. If you can see, it's using this model. And now if you see, it's actually thinking. So now because it's a thinking model, it's always going to think before answering. With simple questions like this, what is 2 plus 2? You don't need a thinking model, but this is a thinking model. So any question that you ask it, it is going to think and then answer. Now using this, I can experience a huge lag. And if you see the CPU cores at the same time, and this is a slightly larger model, there's also a Quen 1.2 billion parameter model, which would be much smaller. This is a 7 billion parameter model. So it's a little slow. It's taking up all the resources in my laptop, in my MacBook M1 Air. And it lags a little bit when it's generating the answer, but now that the answer is generated, it's not lagging anymore. So look at this. It thought for a few seconds. It took 9.5 seconds almost to think. It's like an internal monologue that it has with itself. If you see, first I need to understand the user's request. They're asking what is 2 plus 2. Seems like an arithmetic question. I'll add the numbers together. It just tells you the entire thinking process that went through the model, and then finally you get the answer. Let's try one more question. let this be a more complex question, or let's try a trick question. Let's see what the model does. So I'm going to ask, what role did Jensen Ackles play in the TV sitcom Friends? Now let's see. Now this is a trick question because this actor Jensen Ackles never played a role in Friends. So let's see what it does. It's going to take a few seconds. It's probably going to take more time than it took the last time to answer this question, because this isn't really a question that it can answer truthfully. But you'll see what it tries to do is try to come up with a good answer to make sure that it assumes that what I asked is true. So it's going to try. So if you see, yeah, all right. So I need to figure out who this actor played. I recall Jensen Ackles has been in some movies and shows like Cocaine, etc. But I'm pretty sure Friends was a big show with Robin Williams playing Chandler. Robin Williams playing Chandler Bing. Which show is it talking about? So this is clearly all over the map. It's not taking the right names. Lisa Andre as Monica Geller. I don't know which Friends show it is talking about. This definitely, these are not the right characters for the TV show Friends, or these are not the right actors. And this is completely wrong. Jensen Ackles played the role of the voice in the TV sitcom Friends. I don't think it understood what it does. This is an entirely wrong answer. Let's just do this. Let's go to the DeepSeek website, and we'll try to ask the same question to the thinking model. Now this model that I'll use here, so I'll just click on start now. I'll go to chat.deepseek.com, sign in. I'm going to use my Google account to sign in. Alright, so now that I'm signed in, I'm just going to ask the same question. By the way, it took almost 40 seconds to answer this question, and it was entirely incorrect. So let's try to ask the same question, and this time I'm going to select Deep Think. So this is the same model. We are using the Distill version of this same model. Let's ask the same question and see what answer we get. Okay, this is better. So it knows Jensen Ackles played a role in the series called Supernatural. It played the Dean Winchester character. That is true. Alright, so it knows, okay, this show ran from 1994 to 2004, and it says Jensen Ackles started his career late 90s and early 2000s. So it's trying to see if it actually matches. So now Jensen Ackles, by the way, played a role in the Days of Our Lives show, which again is mentioned in the show Friends. So Jensen Ackles played Days of Our Lives. If you remember, Joey Tribbiani in Friends played the same, was part of the same show Days of Our Lives within the show called Friends. So let's see. I'm not going to read the entire thing. And then finally it answers, Jensen Ackles did not appear in the TV sitcom Friends, while he is well known for his role, etc. Blah, blah, blah. But it says it does not appear. He did not appear in the show called Friends. But if you see the model, so it's saying Jensen Ackles might have played a minor role. It cannot find any reference where this character played a role. Then it's saying, okay, maybe it was a minor character in one of these episodes. It says no. Okay. Then it's saying maybe appeared in some Thanksgiving episode. Then it says, okay, no. Then okay, he says some people mix up Jensen Ackles with this another actor. I don't know what he's talking about. But let's see. Finally, it does a lot of thinking and says no, Jensen Ackles never appeared in the TV sitcom Friends. And this was obviously much faster. This only took 16 seconds, while my local model took almost 40 seconds, and it answered absolutely incorrectly. So this is taking like 6.59 tokens per second, by the way, just some stats, and it generated 323 tokens and almost a second to generate the first token. All right. So definitely this model that we're using on chat.deepseek.com is a far better model. It's a far larger model, and we're using the thinking capability. We just know that we did not use a search option here. Otherwise it would have done an internet search. This model also did not search the internet, so obviously it used some knowledge that it was trained on. Maybe the Quen model that it was trained on was just trained on poor quality data, but this one has better data, and then it was able to answer accurately. That said, it's not a bad thing to use a local model. Maybe it did not answer this question correctly. It did answer this question, which obviously was a much simpler question, but we need to understand what this model is good for and use it accordingly. But the best part about using LM Studio is go to this developer tab, and what you can do is host this model as an endpoint. So what it would do, as soon as I click on start here, it would start the server, and now I have these endpoints that I can use. Now these are OpenAI compatible APIs. So what I can do is use this local host server, and I can connect and I can use this model on my local computer while developing. So what I need to do is, when I deploy this app that I might be building using this local model, I just need to replace this endpoint, and I can just push, and then instead of localhost I might be using my actual URL on the cloud. So you can also use this. So do comment down below if you want me to try this server part out, maybe host some model locally, and then maybe build a cool feature or an app using this local model. Let me know in the comments if you want me to do something and then create a video out of it. But going back to the chat window, if you just click on this icon, settings, it will show you all the different settings that you have. And if I click settings, you can play around with the temperature and all these other different things, right? There are a lot of different options. You can also set a system prompt and everything. So I'm going to close this again, but this is a very easy and a quick way to download a model locally from Hugging Face and then use it on your local laptop without internet. Obviously you'll need internet to download the model locally first, but once you have that, you don't need access to the internet. It just works locally in your machine without anything. So that's also much more private. Now finally, if you're done using the model, just click on eject over here and it will eject, and you can just also clear the chat from right here. Alright, so this was a very easy way to run a large language model locally, specifically the DeepSeek R1 Distill model locally. I am planning to build some features using a thinking model. I'm going to build some cool app, and I'm still thinking around what do I want to do. But once I do that, I'll probably create some videos and put them out there. But if you want me to build something specific, comment down below, and then I'll definitely try to do that. I'll see how that works and I'll create a video out of it. Thank you for watching. Do comment down below, do share this video with your friends, do subscribe to my channel and like the video. Hope to see you soon again. Bye bye, take care.